What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Wild Pitches. I'm Mick Gillespie with Smokies General Manager Tim Volk, and this is podcast number 3. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very, very happy to be here.
Do you feel like, coming on the podcast? I mean, do you feel pressure? Or are you relaxed? I mean,
I feel pressure sitting next to you, and we got the beautiful background behind us here. Beautiful setup in year 1 with podcast 3.
Yeah, look, I love it.
A lot of pressure.
I love it. I guess you were kind of part of this set, and this thing's awesome, man. We got like the traveling set. This is like the main set. So when you see this behind me, most likely we'll be recording at the stadium. So that's where we are right now at Smokies Stadium. And I don't know when you guys are watching or listening, but this is actually the second homestand. And this season, Tim, we started a day before everyone else so that everyone could have off on Easter. Seemed like it turned out pretty good. I mean, got a couple of days off, then went on the road, and now back at home. But the weather's been good. That'll change.
Yeah.
It'll be bad and good. But what do you think of the season so far?
Yeah, I liked it. I like starting Thursday, again, starting a day early. I say a day early, a day before many of the teams, but I liked it, getting the first one in, getting out of the way, and then finishing up on a Saturday, which is pretty unique and unusual for us. But it was a lot of fun with the Easter egg hunt. A lot of kids out there, hundreds of kids out there, the Easter egg hunt after the game, and then had Easter off, which I know all the players appreciated, and our staff, of course, too.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it was cool. All right, well, let's talk about you a little bit. A local guy that had the opportunity to work for the Smokies, and then you left and you came back. But you went to Tennessee and then got to work at Tennessee, and you're a Tennessee fan. So where'd you grow up, and was your dream always to go to the University of Tennessee?
So you say local. I think it depends on who you ask, where I'm originally from. Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. And
well, when did you get here? Yeah, I knew that you were from Cincinnati. Did you just come to this area for college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then you're not local.
Yeah. Not local by the East Tennessee standards, of course.
So you're not from Powell or Halls or Farragut. You're actually from Cincinnati.
Yeah, from Cincinnati, and decided to come down here to the University of Tennessee, and that was way back in 2004.
Wow.
So then got
way back in the day.
Way back in the early 2000s, 04. Decided to come on down and went to UT, and actually my first Smokies game was 2008, starting an internship here. Never even went to a Smokies game during my time at UT, and then came on out and did an internship out here after the University of Tennessee.
Well, that's cool. So I grew up in Cincinnati. Yeah, you're a Bengals fan and a Reds fan. We used to have a guy, Charlie Walter, good buddy of mine still, but he was on the broadcast with me in 2017.
Yeah.
And he was from Cincinnati. He went to Moeller High. Is that did you go there?
That was the east side.
Okay.
So that's the east side, the private
highfalutin
school.
over there. That was highfalutin there.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
from
was
the west,
told.
because there's no south side in Cincinnati, right? Because south is Kentucky.
His
so
dad,
it's east versus west.
Oh, yeah, right. His dad owned Coffee Break Coffee. Did you know Coffee Break?
I knew about it.
You did?
I'm not a big coffee guy, but yeah.
He would always say, like, if things went bad for Charlie, he'd be like, I'm just going to go home and work for Coffee Break. So and we learned this from Curb Your Enthusiasm the last season, is that the coffee's in the beans, right?
Yeah, great show. But Cincinnati, it was a little bit of an internal struggle at times, because my parents both went to Miami of Ohio, and Ben Roethlisberger went to Miami of Ohio.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He goes to Pittsburgh. Yeah. Me and my dad grew up, my mom and brother, we grew up going to his games at Miami, watching him. Then he gets drafted by the Steelers, one of the Bengals' biggest rivals. And you always got to root for the quarterbacks. That was always an internal struggle, Bengals and Steelers.
Yeah.
Same division.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bengals, another Super Bowl loss, but did get to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and they're going to be a contender with Joe Burrow. They're a fun team to watch. But so you went to. So how did you decide to go to Tennessee?
Well, really wasn't smart enough to get into Miami of Ohio.
Oh, wow. So you didn't get in, huh?
No, didn't even get in. But wasn't really surprised there. But my aunt actually lives in Sevierville, and she was always pushing Tennessee on me. We used to come down about every once or twice a year, visit the area. So fell in love with East Tennessee, decided to go to UT, and I guess the rest is history. Ended up, as you know, meeting a true local here in my wife. and 4 kids later, still here in East Tennessee.
Yeah. Look, you were an intern for the Smokies. I've been here a long time, so I think I don't really remember you as an intern, but I do remember you working in group sales. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I came on as an intern, and then I worked my way up to a full-time position.
That's a big thing to do.
In the group sales department. Yeah, I did ticket sales and mini plan season tickets and groups, and then got out for a couple of years. Like many do in the sports industry, kind of float around a little bit, and actually got completely out of sports, and then found my way back.
Wait, hold on. You got out of sports? I thought you worked for the Vol Network or something.
Worked for IMG.
Okay.
Actually, when
Which
I
is the Vol Network, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It seems to
at
change
Tennessee.
names a lot. Yeah, at UT. But before that, I was actually it was a Fortune 500 company. I was selling TV, internet, and phone service. Yeah.
Who was it?
So
Xfinity?
It was 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and no weekends. So no weekends, none of that. It was really, really nice.
And you say that, and people need to know this. I mean, when you work in the baseball business, you're here all the time.
Yeah.
Like the tarp goes on the field. Guess who's putting the tarp on at this level? And we have like 2 teams of tarp pullers, but I mean, that, and then you game days start 9 o'clock for you? I mean, is that what time you're getting in?
Between 9 and 10.
Yeah, it's a long day, and then you get out when the game's over. So you get one of those 9 to 5 jobs, and it's like, whoa! I mean, I can really leave at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like, this is awesome. Let me go do this. And I think it really didn't take long for me to realize I needed to get back in the sports industry.
You missed it.
I missed the sports industry. I really did. So that's when I jumped on board with IMG at the University of Tennessee and was in their sales department. And that was there's a lot of transition in those days. That was the Lane Kiffin time frame.
Oh yeah, 2009.
Fulmer,
yeah.
End of Phil Fulmer, and then the domino effects into that. So did that for a couple of years.
It would have been fun trying to be the guy to go out and pitch the Tennessee Vols when they had Butch Jones or was it Derek Dooley. There's some bad coaches, right? At least Jeremy Pruitt was competitive. I mean,
it was a new sales
Butch Jones
pitch
had a good
year.
year, but you know what I mean. It would be like a couple good games, and then the end of the season you're losing the Vandy and stuff like that. I mean, but you know what? On the flip side, if you were doing that same job now with Josh Heupel and then the success that Tennessee's having, it would be a lot easier because people buy based off of success.
And it was really a situation, looking back on it, extremely thankful for that situation and everything that went into it because you really had to fine-tune your skills, in your profession. You really had to, it was a new sales pitch every year, and it's a lot easier to sell when you lose one game a year or no games a year, and you're rolling into these high-profile bowl games, getting all the top recruits.
That's right.
It makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. If you're like at Ohio State or Alabama, you're going to lose 1 or 2 games, and you're going out and you're able to sell off of that success.
Yeah.
So I know that definitely plays into having a job like that. And coming back to the Smokies, it's so different because you don't sell based off of the product on the field. You sell based off of the experience that you have. Yeah,
and it's completely. I mean, you talk minor league baseball versus NCAA athletics. I mean, generally speaking, there's sports, getting into the sports industry. But when you really dig deep into it, they're completely different animals all over, from NBA versus NCAA versus minor league baseball versus professional baseball. Mm-hmm. But one thing I really liked and appreciated is the opportunity to create memories. You're right, in college football, if you got 100,000 people there, the experience is completely different, and you might have 7, 8 home games,
right?
Maybe,
yeah.
Compared to here,
I don't even think 8. I mean, I think 7's a lot.
6 to 7 usually,
6 to
maybe
7.
A neutral site game in there.
Yeah, right.
But it's completely different, and right, wrong, and different. Just not as much red tape. You can work through some things pretty quick and put your fingerprint on what you got going on in minor league.
It amazes me when I go to college games to see how crappy they run their concessions. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't even care about the profitability of it. They're not moving people through the lines. And I'm not pointing the finger at one school in particular.
Yeah.
You know, so I think honestly, I feel like Tennessee's probably on the better end of doing that.
I'd agree with
But
that.
you go to like some of these other places, Alabama. I go to games there. It's awful. They've got like a high school band that's working the concession stand. You know, no one knows how to make a Coke. They ran out of pretzels and water, and you're in the second quarter, and you're going, you know, in our business and what we do in pro baseball, the concessions are such a big part of the lifeblood of doing this. So it's important that when people show up, they can get a drink or they can get a hot dog. You want the fan experience to be good. It's like these colleges don't even care.
The experience, right?
Yeah, right.
How much food is such a big part of your experience, whether you're going to a theater, a ball game, you name it, going home, right?
Yeah, that's
food
right.
is such a big part of the experience. So, yeah, I mean, what kind of experience are you going to have if you go to a game or an event and there's 100,000 people there and the person behind the bar has never poured a beer before and it's half, and it's half foam.
Right.
It's like,
Which I've seen you bartend before, by the way.
Part-time beer pour.
Yeah, I see you do that. I bartended in college, so quietly I'm watching your pouring, to make sure that you're tilting the glass the right way. And
what do you give me?
I thought you did a good job. I don't remember. I mean, this was last year, but I did sit back and watch because I wanted to know how much foam you had in there, and some beers are harder to pour than others. If you're going with just a regular Coors Light or Miller Lite type of beer, I mean that's not going to have a whole lot of foam. It shouldn't anyway.
Angry Orchard, that's the perfect one. Right
yeah,
there.
that's a good one. Look, you do the Wicked Weed Pernicious, which is one of my favorite beers, but it is hard to pour that beer.
That's
It just has
experts
a lot of,
only.
yeah, right. You've got to hit it just the right way.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I love the fact, just as a big craft beer guy, that we have so many craft beers here now, like the Wicked Weeds and High Wires, and I'm not taking anything away, from the the Budweisers and the Coors Lights and stuff like that. I mean, I get that part of it too, but if I'm coming to a game, maybe I'm only going to be in East Tennessee for a day or two, and I'm coming to a game, I just want to try like the local flavor. Having Yeehaw here is cool, because I think it's one of the best breweries in Tennessee, and it's neat that, we have a whole stand of Yeehaw beer.
That's what I like. You get something for everybody, right? You just said it. You get everything from your Michelob Ultras to your specialty IPAs, and even I think we had a Truly keg out last night.
Did you?
So, and that doesn't even count all the cans, of course, but just the draft stuff, it's pretty unique, and you're going to find something here that you like.
Yeah, White Claw. I've tried them all. I mean, like, I do a beer show, so I've tried a lot of them on that, and then also just as a guy that fights weight loss.
Yeah.
You always try to find that thing. Like, if I'm going to do a couple craft beers, I'm going to have to supplement it with like a Mick Ultra or something.
So a lot goes into your thought process.
Oh yeah. Like I walk in and I'm like a great beer guy. I'm looking around to see and I do this in every park, because I get to travel, and I'll see like what teams actually have like what beers and what teams aren't really doing the craft beer thing. But you get an idea of what beer companies are really pushing. I'm a big Yuengling guy. Yuengling doesn't really have a big footprint here. I go to Mississippi, and I'm always amazed at how Yuengling is such a big part of everything that's going on there. It totally impresses me, and it's one of my favorite beers. But I just watch that. Here, we're big on Wicked Weed. Wicked Weed's put the investment here. They have the beer cart here. And same thing with Yeehaw, same thing with High Wire,
So you're not the guy that goes in and says, just give me whatever. Grab me a beer.
No,
that's
I'm
not you.
they
come back with a Yuengling or a Michelob Ultra, you're happy. You go into a whole science behind
Oh, man. There's a guy that I'm friends with, Dave Schultz. And Schultz, he's like a big bourbon guy, and he makes fun of me because we go out to have a beer, and he'll get a bourbon. I'm taking the time to look and see on the menu what they have. I want to try something that I haven't tried before. A lot of times I'm just scouting for the beer show too, like something that I'd love to just come on here and drink and be able to talk about. So,
see, I'm more of when I go in, I'm not an IPA guy.
Right.
But other than that, I'll take a Yuengling, I'll take something light, I'll take a specialty. One of the best beers I've ever had was a jalapeno beer in Asheville.
Yeah, I believe
I don't know
that.
if you like the spicy or
No,
not.
I've had those before. Yeah,
Pineapple beer was really good.
Fairhope Brewery does a lot with jalapeno beers.
Wasn't too spicy. It was pretty good. tasty, real tasty.
A lot of these off-day Mondays, if I'm in town, I'm at Asheville. I'm serious. Like, but Knoxville's got such a great beer scene too now.
Yeah.
With some great local beer companies, and so I'm sure Sunday night or Monday, I'll swing over there and have a couple just to see what's going on. Asheville is such a cool place, and from our stadium, I mean, it's like 60, 70 miles away, so it's not very far.
Very unique city. I haven't been over there in a couple of years, but last time I was there, it's pretty good. You just get out and walk around. We can get out and walk around, hit different breweries, different places to eat.
Great people watch. Have you ever people watched before?
Oh, phenomenal people watching. If you're not people watching, you're the one getting watched.
Yeah,
is my thought on that.
That's right. They're watching you.
Exactly.
Hey, did you see that guy?
Yeah, exactly.
So you come back over here after you left, and they say you can't return home, right? But you did that. What did you come back as GM when you came back, or did you come back in another role and then eventually become GM?
So came back to really oversee our ticketing group sales departments, and that was an area had a lot of talks with. Of course, Randy Boy bought the team. Chris Allen had come on board, our current president, and convinced me to come back. And you were here through it all, through the thick and thin, and since, even before I started originally. But that was.
I'm like number 3 now.
The 3 most tenured.
I think it's Webby, Doug, and me.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, but it's an easy place to work, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, it's it's a fun place to work.
It is, and that's one of the big reasons I came back, is seeing the vision and the potential that this place has. You want to come in and to a place in a spot where you see there's a lot of potential. Like, if you're replacing, who's going to replace Nick Saban? That's a tough job, right?
Yeah.
That's a really tough job. But seeing the potential that we had, and knowing the fan base, knowing the community, I knew we had a lot of room to grow. In our group sales, in our relationships with the community in terms of group sales and season tickets and mini plans. So came back as that, and then just kind of worked my way up since then.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I guess the big news is that, we got 2 more years left here, and then a new stadium downtown. I'll be honest, man, I'm a little torn. I've had some great experiences here. I have no complaints about this stadium, but at the same time, I mean, we're all excited about seeing what this new place is going to be like. We all love Knoxville. It's not like Oakland. Did you see where Oakland got a new, Oakland's moving to Las Vegas, and it was basically because they were playing in a dump. And this place isn't a dump. It's a good place, but, it's also gotten older, and the people are in Knoxville, and it's kind of part of the business. But I miss this place, though.
When you look around, we've done so many upgrades over the last 10 years or so, and invested a lot of time, a lot of money in all these different experiences. But at the same time, are you going to turn down a brand new stadium in downtown Knoxville? So that opportunity.
Well, that spot too, man. And that's the thing. I mean, like, you're trying to make it easier for people to come to a baseball game, and it's just a shorter drive. We did this, and I don't know if this was before you came back, or maybe you were part of this, but we used to do these surveys where we were trying to figure out where everyone came from.
Yeah.
And what we figured out is that, by far the majority of the people that come here, and it was like 60, 70%, right? Or maybe even more, were coming from Knoxville.
A bunch. And don't get me wrong, we, of course, get your visitors, you get your tourists, you get your Chicago Cubs diehards,
right.
That are vacation and all that. But day in and day out, the vast majority are Knoxville. And it makes sense. I mean, it's such an easy drive where we're at currently from Knoxville.
Yeah.
So looking at downtown, it only makes sense, and being able to reach that many more people in that area.
Yeah, so that'll be something that's coming up. But the other part of it is that, you've got 2 more years left to enjoy this stadium. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're already thinking, like, the fun stuff that we're going to do this year, and then obviously next year will be all about the stadium, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got next year, the last year, which is also the 25th year. So how often does that happen?
Man.
You're going to have the 25th year celebrations along with.
I've been coming to games here since the 2nd year.
Really?
Long before, because Jared Kingery, who is the closer of the team, I think he got here the first year. And I don't remember if I stopped and watched games that year, but I know I have programs from 2001.
Really?
Because he was one of my best friends, and he pitched for the Smokies. I mean, that's totally ironic. I mean, I never thought I'd be here.
Right.
But overshadowing his career. No, I'm just kidding. He had 27 saves. I mean, I'm not going to do that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought I'd be here this long, but I've always loved this place.
Well, what's cool is we're not stopping. I mean, we're putting in a whole new group area right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Just waiting on a few final parts, but we're not stopping as far as the experience go, which is really, traditionally you think, oh, you got a new stadium coming up, you're gonna stop doing everything and just put Band-Aids on everything and move on down the road, but it's not who we are and it's not what we're doing.
No.
I think you're right.
And that's true, man. Look, I know that's like you're supposed to say that as the GM, but that's really how it is.
It is.
You know, I mean, like we no one here is like just like we're out of here. It's more like, hey, what can we do to make this a great season?
In these next 2 years, really, I mean, we've got so much going on, a lot of talent on the field and so much fun off the field. Like there's just a lot going on that we're going to really celebrate these next 2 years.
Yeah. I was a kid. I grew up in Baltimore, and I went to games at Memorial Stadium, to see the Orioles play. And, and it was, that stadium was kind of, it just wasn't modern, like you got to have suites and all that kind of stuff now. And,
right.
And then they built Camden Yards, and I like both places. I miss the feeling that I got with all of the history that was at Memorial Stadium. I had so many good times with my dad taking me to games, and I can still remember like seeing how enormous it was, and running up to to get to the turnstile, and
it's funny when you're a kid that those little experiences that you remember. You probably don't. You may remember exactly what happened on the field or who hit a home run, but it's some of my memories. It's like coming in and first seeing the grass.
Oh yeah.
And seeing, whoa, look at all these seats in the stadium, whatever it may be. It's funny how some of those little memories turn into lifelong memories.
Yeah, no, we would go up the turnstile, and there was like a spot where you would just you could see the field. And it just seemed to always time out where the Orioles were taking batting practice, and Cal Ripken's at shortstop, and he's throwing the ball to Eddie Murray at first, and watching the care that those guys took practicing.
Yeah.
And it's something that's kind of led me to where I'm at now. When I watch guys play, I'll give Pete Crow Armstrong a little bit of love here. I was watching him during batting practice, and the way that he was approaching center field was kind of the same way. Like he was out there like, Sam Fold used to do that. The great players. And I can remember telling, being at batting practice and being down and talking to Matt Caesar and saying, hey, you know what, man, I used to see Dwayne Wise, who was a Smokie, played in the big leagues, a great outfielder, and just the way that he would approach batting practice as an opportunity to get better, and watching Sam Fold, like he would just watch the ball off the bat, and he would put his head down and try to run to where he thought it was going to land.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even look where the ball was. He would just watch it hit and then sprint to a spot and turn around and see if he could catch it.
Yeah.
And that's he was a great player, but. So that's the cool thing about watching the game every day. Let's talk promotions. I mean, you're part of that. The promotions. People love the giveaways and all that kind of stuff. You guys brought. Hey Richie, can you hand me your floppy hat? Your hat. I got put. I love this thing. Like.
It's a good hat.
This is.
It's one of our best.
Let me show you this right here.
I think it's one of our best.
As a current boat owner. Like you guys did this.
You don't know this. We made that hat with you in mind.
Dude, I love this.
Current boat owner.
And it's like it was sitting in my office, and they were not even giving these away for a while.
Margaritaville.
Right, and I'm like, this is going to be part of the Margaritaville getup this year.
Yeah, and it's really, really cool.
It's so cool, man.
That's a boat.
So what is that? That's May 27th.
Yeah, so last Saturday in May. Of course, we got the fireworks and all the
smells like straw.
Smells straight out of the box.
Love this.
Yeah, smells fresh. If you want to call it fresh.
So how many of these are we giving away?
We got about 1,000 of those.
Really?
We're giving out.
Yeah. Well, these are cool. This is one of the best
really
giveaways.
Cool.
You remember we used to do the hat giveaways? We used to do hat giveaways all the time.
We did do a lot of hat giveaways. You still
back in the day.
Every now
back in the day, yeah, like
my first stint. Not the recent.
Right,
this is way back. The 08, 09. Yeah.
None of those hats were this good though.
They weren't that hat. That's a fitted hat. It's not an adjustable Velcro.
I own some of these. Like I've paid like $20, $25, $30 for one of these different hats. But yeah, this is cool. Whose idea was this?
It was a collaborative idea. I know Aris was talking about it. He got some different samples and different ideas. And
That's great.
so we got to go big for Margaritaville. It's one of the fan favorites here, right? I think it's one of your favorites.
It is.
I know it's our George
Yardley.
our PA guy. It's one of his favorites. He's got a unique cat. I'm curious to see if he's going to put that on or keep his what do you call it, parrot hat that he's got.
The funny thing is that we were doing the TV show in 2017, and Charlie Walters, they're talking about Charlie, he's like, hey, let's do a dance routine to put on the show, And so we just, like, for Margaritaville, we just have this, like, montage of music, and we choreograph this terrible dance, and we just go out and do it, and now it's become a thing. Like, one year I missed, and everybody was like, what happened? And I was actually, this is the biggest disappointment of 2020, is that I was on the ticket stock for Margaritaville night.
Yeah.
And we didn't have we didn't have the game, we didn't have a season.
But you
dressed up,
You say it was terrible. I say it's perfectly terrible.
It's perfectly terrible.
It's perfectly terrible. It was very bad. Whatever it was bad. Whatever it was. But you had the tie-in of, was it left shark, right shark?
Yeah. We do all that. Yeah.
The costumes, and it was perfectly terrible and fit right in for the night, and it really kicked us off in the right way for Margaritaville.
What's cool is that, like, we started doing bands, like a set before the game, and then we'll have a couple sets after the game. Elvis Night's going to be really fun this year.
And I like that. Talk about that for a minute. That's something that we changed recently. Is if we're going to have a band, what we're trying to do is get them before the game and after, because some people can't stick around that late. You might have kids, but you might want to get in early and listen to a Grateful Dead band, a Margaritaville band, whatever it may be. So that's something we recently did, and seems to be going over pretty well.
Yeah, it is cool. I went down and watched the guys, the Margaritaville guys, or whatever they're called, playing the Jimmy Buffett. They were really good.
Yeah. And you said go down and watch. You're usually front row.
Okay. Yeah, you guys
right
know.
There.
I get here. Those days I get here early and I knock out all my stuff, and then I go down there and I'm just like the first person sitting there.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, man. I get into whatever we're doing, man. Like the Elvis night's been fun. That night's always been one of my favorites. We started the Dead thing, and that's been cool too. Just seeing that grow. I saw your Turtles are coming back this year.
90s night.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90s night
one.
took off the last several years, but we had such a good reception of
I hated
Ninja
90s
Turtles.
night until you brought the Turtles in. And I'll tell you, like, we used to have
some
these
naysayers on 90s
I was a
nights,
naysayer. Look, like the marketing meetings, I'm like, no, man. Like, I lived through the 90s. There's nothing cool about the 90s. But then the Turtles showed up, and I was like,
Not
okay.
just Turtle. I mean, they were
the real Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
They're the real Ninja Turtles. I got there, normal time. I walked through there, just hanging out before the gates open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, these are like the real guys. Like, these are
from the movies. Yeah.
They're really from the movies. Like, this is what they do.
Yeah. They can do the dance, the go ninja, go, all that stuff, and talking and fighting. Yeah, they're the real deal. So they're coming back this year for 90s night. So we're excited about that.
We didn't do a baseball movie theme. And Pico Armstrong's mom was in Little Big League.
Yeah. Little known fact.
Yeah, you could have done a bobblehead of her.
Had we known prior to him getting here.
Yeah. You love those though. I think like those have been such a big deal. Like the last few years we had. Really, it all kind of started when Smalls just showed up one day.
Yeah, that was.
You remember that?
More or less unplanned. Kind of
from Sandlot.
And then
what was his name? Ham Porter, but what's his real name? Do you know?
Yeah,
the catcher. And so he was in town, and he's like, "Hey, I'll just come by," and people were like, they loved it. So then we brought Squints in, and that turned out to be great.
We did a little Sandlot night and had not all the cast, but a majority of the cast, and that night was wild.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was really wild.
And then last year,
we did Henry Rowan-Garner, which is really cool. He came out and we did a bobble arm of that one, didn't we?
That was neat.
The bobble arm, that was really cool. So I think he's doing something in Wrigley this year, the anniversary of the movie and all that. So
sure
I'm glad we got him in last year. And really, really great guy.
I'd love to get Charlie Sheen in, do something with Major League.
Let's work on that. What if we go out with a bang next year?
Do that. If you did Major League, though, kind of knowing like who would be available, budget-wise and stuff, who could you get?
That's a great question.
You know, like just and you guys that are watching, you know, send us your comments. I mean, I just love that movie. We were talking about it on the broadcast last night. You know, Lou Brown, the manager,
There's
give him
so
the
many
heater,
angles you
Ricky.
could go. Like,
I don't think you're going to get Wesley Snipes, right? Willie Mays Hayes.
Never say never, but yeah, that's probably not happening.
Probably out of the, you know, out of the realm of possibility. Charlie Sheen was Ricky Vaughn.
Yeah.
They did like.
So you go big. I mean, right?
That'd be awesome.
Start with Charlie and see what happens.
That'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool. So that's one of those movies like. I love it. I still can watch. If it's on, I can watch the whole thing.
That movie's going to stay. It's one of those. It's a classic, and no matter what, people will be quoting that for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's get back to you. So you come back over for the second stint. How many years has it been now?
Gosh, so this is what I want to say. It's my 9th coming back.
Wow.
So all in over 10. Yeah, was that 12? I guess.
12 years,
yeah.
Huh? Jeez, oh Pete, man,
Time
it goes
flies.
by so fast, huh?
Time flies.
What do you like most about your job?
Every day is different. That's one thing. Like, you know, we got out of sports, every day was the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I thought I was like, oh man, I'm really going to enjoy that. Every weekend off, I'm out of here at 5. I'm home for dinner.
Yeah.
You know, but then you get into it, and it's like, man, every day is Groundhog. It's the exact same. You know, that's
right.
Not that that's bad. It's just that's for some people. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I really like that every day's different. One day we're doing a podcast. The next day we're talking about promotions.
Doing the baseball card thing. You know, let's talk about the card corner.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden
Collector's Corner.
And then we hit in on the card business in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? That's when we decided. Of course, we didn't play for a whole year. Didn't
Right.
play baseball for a whole year.
So well, let's get into this because I don't even know this. So basically, the Smokies have a really good baseball card store.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys get cards that some of them are worth a lot of money. You get unopened packs. Some of them are really hard to find. Some of these packs are very expensive because if you get a card out of it, they could be worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like, you know, like your corner store card market. I mean, this is like a legitimate part of the business, and you guys you'll go all over the country to different card shows. That's really cool. And that started during COVID.
It started during COVID. It was just really an idea. Like, hey, we're a baseball stadium, a baseball team. Why don't we have our own card shop?
Right.
Specifically baseball cards, and of course, domino effect. We can talk about it for hours, but domino effect turns into baseball to football to basketball to Pokemon. You know, and all this other stuff.
Big Pokemon guy
stuff
here.
that I don't have anything about, anything about, but certain people do. And then, all of a sudden, next thing you know, we got Jordan rookies and Brady rookies and all this different stuff in our collections and moving and selling. And we got
Jordan rookie?
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm a Jordan guy.
Yeah, isn't that? It's me too. Guy. I mean, isn't that like $1 million card?
Not million. No. The ones we have they're thousands. I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars of cards. And then
why didn't I, like in 1987? Why didn't I just get a couple of those?
Yeah, a handful. You probably got a handful. You know?
I wasn't into basketball. I did like Jordan. It's amazing how that's the card that you. I mean, really, that's the card that you.
If you're a basketball guy, you want that Jordan rookie, and then the generation prior.
87 Fleer, right? Isn't it? Yeah, unbelievable.
And you look back, and I've talked to my dad about this, and I'm sure you've talked to people as well. Probably some people here on staff. It's like, oh, you're looking for a mantle? You're looking. You know what I used to do with all my cards? They were in my bike spoke. And this and that.
Right.
I had that one. It's like, man, you're talking millions. You know, when you start adding all that kind of stuff up. That's what makes them so rare.
Yeah,
Nobody had that thought of the future with all that stuff, and now look at them.
Well, people, I've read stories where people were taking their PPP loan money during COVID and buying baseball cards with them, or old cards, or Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And then the other thing is that people were just at home and they got back into collecting again, and they're like stocks.
I think that was a big part of it. Is okay, I'm locked in for a week or 2 weeks or a year, whatever it may be. I'm going to go up in the attic and dust off and see what we got up there. Oh, look at these old cards. Let me see what these are worth. And then the demand. And if you were trying to finish a set, maybe you took that time to finish a set, so that drives your buying up. And all in, it was quite a rush. But you're right. You might have, I don't know, what happens if Aaron Judge, heaven forbid, has several bad games, has an injury that he can't come back from. You're exactly right. it's like stocks and gambling all mixed into sports.
So what are the most expensive like pack of cards that you guys sell, and what can you get out of them? Like why are they expensive, and then what's the card you're looking for?
So there's some really high-end basketball, really all that basketball, football, baseball. Well, usually when you're talking the higher-end football and basketball, some cards nowadays they got diamonds in them. So you might
like
be guaranteeing real diamonds with a certificate of authenticity, and on top of that they autographed them, and on top of that it's a one of one. So there's only one of that card that's ever made. So we got a couple. Flawless is one of the lines that we have down there. It's Panini Flawless Basketball. So for instance, if you could pull a one of one rookie from that year, and it might be enshrined in diamonds, and it's got their autograph on it, and a patch from a jersey on it. I mean, that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous is what it's all come to with the value of this stuff. So not only have the value of the player, but then sometimes you might have a value of a silver bar or a gold bar or a 1 troy ounce of silver inserted in that.
Wow.
So it's gotten ridiculous, and it's not just the the little skinny cards anymore. Now you're talking stuff that might be 1/4 inch thick.
And that's if you go to the store, the Goatee's locker room, we call it, right under the, when you walk into the stadium with all the Smokies shirts and Cubs hats and all that kind of stuff. It's in there. It's in the back of that area. So you'll see all the cards in there, and it's pretty cool. And you guys are actually going to the NFL draft for a card show. Yeah,
there's a big card show in Kansas City. We're going to go and set up at. So do some buying, do some selling, do some trading.
So you guys will actually have like a table there?
Yeah, we'll have a little booth set up there and some enter to wins, and follow us on social media and all that whole deal.
What's that experience like? Just a ton of people come to these?
Yeah, it's you talk about people watching. Go to a good card show. Yeah. Everybody from your, I love to see the kids get involved, because that's really, how many people's memories are of kids, when you were a kid collecting baseball cards, and Derek Jeter or my favorite player, whoever it may be.
Right.
So I love seeing all the kids there, the casual collectors, and then you got your serious guys who, might have a gold chain with a Gem Mint 10 Jordan around their neck.
Really?
Yeah, designer jeans and all that kind of stuff. And then you got people going live, and all the social media aspects of it all, and filming their shows and all that kind of stuff. So you got people doing podcasts and everything, selling live. So it's quite the experience.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out. Well, hopefully you guys will come back with something cool. Are there any of these cards that we have that are on display that people could come and check out when they're at the next Smokies game? Are they downstairs in the?
Yeah, we got I want to say about 5 or 6 display cases, and that's everything from singles to packs to boxes. To even some sealed cases and stuff, you name it. So, and then of course here we do a lot of Cubs, a lot of prospects, a lot of Chicago Cubs and MLB, but we really got everything from, again, Pokemon to sports and everything.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So it sounds like you're pretty busy. And then, on top of that, trying to help run the team and be part of it. Talk about the food at the stadium. I'm sure I have to have Chris Franklin, a guy called Fuzzy, on there.
Yeah, you got to have Fuzzy on here because he'll give you the full rundown. But one thing I really like about this stadium, I think it's pretty unique, is our restaurant. But we have a full-service restaurant down here. It's a sit-down restaurant, but it also has the sliding garage doors. So if you just want a beer or a burger, you can place the order, catch the game, and come back and pick it up. Place a little to-go order, or if you're like, man, it's a little warm today, let's go hang out and go sit in the back with my family, get the kids something to eat. And we got TVs everywhere. You can still watch the game while you're back there, just like a sit-down restaurant. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about the design of the stadium. There's really no obstructions at all. It's like you get here, and you're in line, and you're ordering something to eat or drink. You can just sit there, and no matter where you're at, you can really see the field.
Yeah, you can sit at the bar in the restaurant and still see the field out here, which is pretty cool.
What's it like dealing with the Cubs and and the players and all that kind of stuff as part of your job?
Well, yeah, and you're talking minor league baseball, so you got low A, high A, double A, triple A, majors. There's so many different levels and so many different players along with that. I always say it's different every day. It truly is different every day. One day we might have a guy coming in, and another day might have a guy going out. Then we got specialty jerseys that they're all going to wear.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
getting those sizes and numbers set up, and then travel coming in. It's different every day, but it's a cool brand. I mean, the Chicago Cubs, that's a world-renowned name and brand right there.
Yeah. Look, I mean, really built by Harry Carey. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
WGN television. And without that, just another team. And because of that, there's just so many people that fell in love with the Cubs in the '80s, and still love the Cubs to this day.
And you brought up their processes earlier. To me, it's really cool and unique just in baseball in general. A lot of people don't realize these guys might get out here at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and run their full practices. Run their full practices, get their running in, get their lifts in, get their weights, do an infield, catcher work, all of it. Oh, and then by the way, we got a game tonight. They're doing that day in, day out every single day.
I know, and that's how you get good too. I mean,
Right.
learning how to play this game, because it really is a skill game. And a lot of the stuff, if someone doesn't teach you, you're never going to figure it out.
Right.
And so learning that skill and having guys that are going to teach you that is what's going to help you be able to get to the big leagues and have success there. And going along those same lines, I've talked about it before, but it's great having Michael Ryan as the team manager. I mean, like, if your manager isn't cooperating with the front office, it can be a long season.
Yeah, and Michael Ryan, this is his second year here, which is great. So we had that the first year relationship, and then coming into the second year, and it's always nice when you feel comfortable enough to go back and forth and discuss different things on the field, off the field. It might be a player appearance, like we had one today actually for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, to promote what they have going on. And then so same thing, they got a couple players out promoting and helping us with Make-A-Wish. They got to get back to the ballpark and play tonight, and get ready for their game. But all that stuff starts with the manager in the clubhouse.
How do we put this? It's a different setup now, because this is the first year that minor league players are part of a players union. For all those years, it was only just big league guys on the 40-man roster that were part of a players union. And then the players in the minor leagues voted to have a union. I'm curious to see the long-term effects of this, but they're going to, they're making more money now. I mean, the situation that they're in as players has changed. How has that changed for you? And I know, like, if they're doing appearances, they're getting paid. They're not going to be playing exhibition games anymore, without being paid. I mean, stuff like that. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, and I think us being on, I say the inside, the other side, we've probably seen this kind of stuff coming eventually, right? Like, we knew, you talk about college athletics and NIL, and you kind of see the trends and the way everything's going. But one thing is committed to from all sides, and that's promoting the game of baseball. So if it's for a nonprofit, if we're doing an appearance at a children's hospital, anything like that, that's going to promote the game of baseball and promote what we have going on, then yeah, that's part of it, and everyone's going to be involved in that, just like our front office is. Same with the players; they're all going to be involved with that. But let's say you were the Cubs' first-round pick, and we said, "Hey, Mick, hold up your jersey and say, hey, buy my jersey because I'm the number 1 pick." Yeah, you probably should get a little something for that.
Yeah, right.
But so there's definitely a lot of changes that are going to be working through literally as we speak. They only have everything fine-tuned and written out yet. I'm talking about trading cards. That could be one. That could be one where we got to work out something with them to where we're allowed to take pictures and sell their trading cards.
So then that means that there's no trading cards for this year. I mean, how's that? Because I guess this is like I didn't think about this
year. Yeah, that's a lot of it's still a little muddy. They're trying to figure out all the fine details. So we're fine right now. Thinking more in the future, next year and the years beyond. Okay, how do we attack and how do we look at these things that might be tied to someone's name, image, or likeness?
Right.
And what
Kind of
does
like
that
college
look like
sports,
across the field? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm 3 baseball cards in. So
you are.
Does that mean
you need to be on the panel or on the board or whoever's making all these decisions? Yeah.
Every year I'm like, don't put me in there. Because I'm always afraid that I'm going to look terrible in my picture. But this right here is like from one of the baseball cards. I like that one.
So you got that. You got the whole situation with NIL and a lot of changes on that realm, but also I know we got a lot of rule changes the last couple of years that Major League Baseball is starting to implement. But as you know, some of that stuff's not really new to us. We've been doing that for a couple of years as the test market.
Hey, it's funny, like Major League Baseball moved the beer inning back.
Yeah,
well, we did that last year. Yeah, we did that last year because the games are so much faster now. You could get to the seventh inning in an hour and change, with the pitch clock and all. And so we did the same thing, and then a lot of other teams did. And then it's like in the big leagues, it's like, oh my God, it's like a big thing. Hey man, we've been doing that, But the pitch clock's been something that has helped the game, no doubt, man. And I don't miss the shift. The bigger bases I could do without, but that really doesn't affect much to me.
Yeah, I mean the pitch clock seems to be always everyone's hot topic in Major League Baseball right now. And I'm sure you watched the spring training games. Seemed like the pitchers were testing it a little bit, testing the umpires. The batters were as well. The shift, we've been doing the anti-shift for, I want to say this was our second year. We got to have two people.
Oh yeah, we started halfway through the season before, and then all last year.
Where you got to have two people on the left side of second base and two on the right. And they got to start there. I personally like that. I think I like it a lot. And I think one thing they're trying to do is showcase athleticism.
Mm-hmm. So and the other thing they're going to eventually have to do is figure out how to get more balls put in play. And that may mean moving the mound back or moving it down or something. I could see that being. I mean, we've seen games this year where the Smokies and their opposition strike out, 13, 14 times each, and it's just not as good of a game when teams aren't putting it in play. So, we'll see what happens. But I've never been a big advocate for changing rules, but the pitch clock rule, you just get the game just moves so much smoother. It's just such a big difference. I mean, it really does. I don't know how you could complain about not.
You get into rhythm, right?
Yeah.
The pitcher gets in his rhythm. The batters are getting into rhythm, and it keeps everything flowing. And they're trying to create that consistent action, and that's part of it, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, anything else? What else you want to talk about while we're on here? Your dad, you got 10 kids now? How many?
Working on 10. Only got 4.
4?
Only got 4 right now.
So is it 3 girls and a boy?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah.
So the
you got to catch up.
Yeah, I know. But the thing about kids is you can be scared off by one kid depending on how they act. You get good kids and you're like, I'm going to have 15 of these things.
Nothing to it. Yeah.
But it's got to be a ton of work.
It's fun work, I guess, right? I mean, it's fun work.
Who babysits them?
So a couple are in school, a couple go to a parents' day out at a local church.
Okay.
We're lucky to have my wife's family here close.
So they
help
do a lot of watching and stuff. How old are they?
So everywhere from 8 down.
Wow.
8 all the way down.
That's a little group
to
right there.
Less than 1.
It's a small army.
Yeah.
That's a small army. Who's picked the names?
Well, that was a mix. So Savannah was always my wife's number 1 choice.
Really?
We got about 2 weeks out of delivery. She's like, I don't like Savannah. It's her first child.
Mm-hmm.
But she's had that name picked out forever. She's like, I don't like it anymore.
For the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's had that picked for years.
Right.
And so we went back and forth, and had to remind her over and over about how long she's been wanting this name, Savannah. So we ended up sticking with Savannah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a little mixed. So Masden, that was something that my wife liked. Of course, second child.
So it sounds like your wife right now is
she was
2-0.
She's 2-0.
Yeah.
Then we get to our boy.
Uh-huh.
Our only boy. And I thought we should go with Cash, with a K. Cash
Jackson. Wow, like Johnny Cash kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, so we...
that's a Tennessee name right there.
KJ, Cash Jackson.
That is I don't know that that's a Cincinnati name. That feels a lot like there's a Nashville influence on that one.
But usually I lost.
Are you?
So Cash is not the name, so we went with Jackson.
Okay.
So
right.
Cash lost again.
So you're 0-3 right now.
I was 0 for 3. I'll claim Brielle. I'll claim our youngest.
Okay.
Our youngest daughter. I claim one. Was that 1 for 4? I guess.
She was like Cash sounds like a bank robber or something.
Yeah. Didn't
was that the arguing was?
Yeah.
I got a buddy that's daughter's name's Cash after Johnny Cash. Really? Yeah. She's I think 16 now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good, cool. Well, look, man, it was fun hanging out,
Yeah.
and I'm excited about the season. We're off to a good start.
We really are. Really are. It's exciting. We got, 69 games heading into September this year, about the middle of September.
Yeah.
So we got a full season ahead.
Honestly, man, that's been the biggest change of all the changes, is that when Major League Baseball took over and basically started running minor league baseball, having off all the Mondays, and we're off every Monday for the most part, it's fine. I mean, you get a day off a week, but the season going into like week 5 of college football for us down in the South, I mean, gosh, that's a lot of, trying to figure out how you're going to do everything.
Well, not just that, the weather too. I mean, we're the most northern team in the league, right? In Tennessee, but April and September, it could be snowing, or especially in early April, it could be snowing or it could be 75.
That's right.
You don't really know.
Oh man, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it's. And then if you make the playoffs like we did last year, our incredible run in the playoffs, you're approaching October.
I know.
Which is just, it's wild.
Yeah, I've got a theory on that. If we're not going to win it, let's just lose in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, this because I've had my heart ripped out so many times. Like it happened again last year.
Not till the last game of the year.
We lose on the last game. So hopefully, and I've said this before. I just would love for us to win a championship, for Randy, our owner, and for all of our fans that have stuck by us. This team hasn't won a championship on the field since, 1978? I mean, that's just so long. And
it is.
It's the second longest drought. There's only 8 teams in the league now.
Yeah.
At some point, we got to win one, right?
Against all odds, yeah.
Give us one. And they used to say this as Cubs fans, just one before I die.
Yeah, Cubs got theirs.
Yeah, the Cubs got theirs. So.
Smokies need to get ours now.
Well, Tim Volk, you guys would probably see him walking around the stadium. Maybe he'll be pouring you a beer next time you're at the park, but now you know a little bit about him. Please check out Wild Pitch's podcast. Eris or I both will be on here, maybe sometimes together, maybe sometimes kind of doing this, or we're just talking to people. But we appreciate it, and want you guys to be out at the ballpark, so hopefully we'll see you all soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. Go Smokies.